And welcome back, everybody, to Snack-ime, where we talk snacks and eat anime. Wait, scratch that. Wow, I flubbed that, not on purpose. Milus Dexia is really kicking in today. It's been a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Jenae, how you been? We missed you on the Geek Gauntlet last night.
Doing okay. Just came back from being sick, so
Sick.
it's not fun.
Code word from having too much vodka and Pepsi.
No. Just like 24-hour flu or something. It was not fun.
Ooh.
And a little bit of a fever, so that was no bueno.
Yeah, you've got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. I gotta say, watching Ando do his walk-in impersonation last night, that was pretty talented. Like I was blown away. He's got that down pat.
Yes, he does.
All right, so everybody, you guys know the drill. We eat snacks, we talk anime, and this month we are talking. What are we talking about, Jenae?
We are talking about Delicious in Dungeon. It's on Netflix right now.
Yes,
and we're only talking about the first 6 episodes, though.
Yes, the first 6 episodes, and since the whole show is about, it's basically a cooking show. It's Emerald Lagasse from hell.
It's almost like an anime episode of Chopped, but in a dungeon.
Right?
You just get whatever ingredients that they hand you in a basket and just go.
Like, there's very little adventuring happening. It's all just like a food journal, a travel journal of all the different things you can eat based off of monsters. And I'm just like, yeah.
It gets better because I'm trying to remember how many episodes are actually on there.
I think there's something like 24.
Yeah, so there's a lot more to go. And I believe it's renewed for a season 2. I just don't remember when season 2 drops.
Yeah, me either. But I'm kind of curious because, like, one of my favorite channels on YouTube is called Babish Culinary Universe, and like during the pandemic, I was using the basics playlist on that channel to kind of reteach myself how to actually cook because, I wasn't great at cooking. And there's a playlist on here called Anime with Alvin, and I'm looking through, and like, I don't think they've done anything from this show. Like, I'm kind of surprised they haven't done anything because it seems to be a pretty popular.
Yeah, because it just came out last year,
right?
So maybe they just haven't gotten to it yet. Maybe
I don't know. I mean, like, they do like the giant red bean bun from Spirited Away. They do the boba milk tea from Great Pretender. They've done a couple of different things from Attack on Titan. They did the Water Tribe noodles from Legend of Korra. Let's see what else. They did the taiyaki, the fish pastry thing from My Hero Academia.
Oh,
They have the giant okonomiyaki from One Piece. They do the giant ramen bowl from Ruby, which Ruby isn't even anime.
Well, neither is Korra, so
this is true.
And they're
anime adjacent.
It's styled like anime, but it's American creators. So
yeah. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do anything based off of Magikarp. But they did like a tonkatsu bento from Your Name. That I watched that one because I like tonkatsu. That's one of the few things I know how to actually make, and I'm like, man, I need to make this now.
Yeah.
But so yeah, So we're talking about Delicious in Dungeon and how it's kind of the cooking show from hell. What are we eating today?
What?
What are we eating today?
We're eating dirt and worms. Well, I have snakes though, because I couldn't find any worms.
I did. I found these delightfully bright colored hydra worms, and you can't kill them. You have to keep them unconscious because if you kill them, the juices inside turn a little toxic and make your tummy a little rumbly.
Now, for people that don't know what dirt and worms is, it's basically just pudding, and then you just smash up some Oreos, and you can either layer it or mix the pudding and the Oreos together, and then you find some gummy worms and throw the gummy worms in there. So
wait, you use pudding and Oreos?
Chocolate pudding and Oreos.
Oh, I use the muck from my front yard and some and some beetles from Zanzibar.
Okay, Genji.
Actually, the flavor combination with the gummy worms isn't terrible.
I've just never enjoyed this kind of treat. I would just eat the pudding and the.
That's fair.
Oh.
That's fair. And I think because like it's a fruit flavor mixed with chocolate and it doesn't really pair well. But I think the reason being is because I got like a berry mix flavor, and berries tend to go well with chocolate.
Now, unfortunately, the snakes, one is they're two-headed. You can tear them apart, and so one snake is sweet and one snake is sour. So
yeah, that's gonna feel a little funky.
I won't know what snake I'm gonna get. So
yeah. All right. So this was your recommendation. I hope you have your list of questions about the show.
I do.
Sweet.
All right. So, Garrett, your overall thoughts of the show so far?
My overall thoughts. It's been interesting. Like the episodes go really quick.
I know, right? And but they're the same length of any other anime episode, but just feels like it goes like that.
But it's interesting because like a lot of what they do, a lot of the dialogue is very expository because all it is the dwarf. What's his name? Genji.
Yeah.
Genji is just narrating basically every little ingredient that he's putting into a stew or a bowl of rice or a bowl, or if he's making mochi or whatever it is that he's making for the crew. And it kind of blows my mind that that's pretty much all it is he's just explaining what he's putting into the ingredients and how he's cooking them. And that's the bulk of the dialogue.
Yeah.
Everything else is what's the hero's name? Lyro?
Laios.
Laios. Yeah. Is him just being like, you can eat that? Oh, that's delicious. And what's
in the book? Marcel is the elf.
Marcel, yeah. And she's like freaking out every time. It's like, but like every time she gets proven that it's delicious. I don't understand what her problem is. Just at this point,
it's just like I have to deal with all these people.
Yeah.
At least as long as I get paid.
I'm just like, this has got to be like the worst Dungeons and Dragons campaign ever of all time.
That actually segues to my next question. Who is your favorite character so far? Since you've only seen the main core group, there'll be more characters randomly that will come in too. So, but we've only seen episode 1 through 6. So.
I haven't seen the dragon, but at this point I kind of want to lean towards the dragon because the dragon's like I kind of understand why the dragon ate the sister. It's like if the rest of the characters are this obnoxious. She's probably
but the thing is, Fallon pushed Laios out of the way and got eaten. Otherwise,
I know because she realized he was obnoxious. And she's probably trying to get away from him. Now, it's kind of really hard because, like, I mean, you only get little snippets of the characters based on whatever dialogue they have, and so like. I am curious because Laios has that sword, and the sword seems to be a monster of its own kind.
Yeah, he named it Sasuke, I think.
Yeah.
Since it is a critter.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of curious as to what it is because it feels like it's some kind of mimic out of the Dungeons and Dragons universe.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I feel like it's something else entirely. I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out. Marcel is, I mean, she's okay. I mean, she's got a soft spot. Like the episode, I think it was episode 3 or 4, where they're dealing with the ghosts, and she hugs the cadaver that's just like looming towards them. I'm sitting there thinking, oh, this is a zombie, because they were talking about zombies earlier, and I'm like, you get bit, and then they're gonna have to kill her because she's a monster, and then they're gonna have to eat her because like now she's food, and then it turns out it's just a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay. She was just showing love to the ghost.
Oh, that episode, I think that was when, because Marcel wanted to blast it, but this is a flashback, and Fallon hugs it. She's like, we don't have to use violence, and she just hugged the corpse and said, "Rest in peace," because it was possessing a traveler that they were trying to find so they could earn money.
Yeah, so, and it's just like
she just wanted to blast.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't necessarily find the characters lovable, but I don't hate them.
Yeah.
But again, I realize why the dragon did what they did.
Well, there'll be more story when it gets further in, so
I'm sure there will be.
What food would you try so far in this anime?
Oh gosh. Let me see her.
That we have seen. Do you want the ghost sorbet?
Hold on. I need to pull up a list. Okay. I would not go with the scorpion and mushroom hot pot. For one thing, I don't like mushrooms. Mushrooms are disgusting. Mm-hmm. I might go for the mandrake and basilisk omelet. That does sound a little tasty. Mm-hmm. I like a good omelet, especially if you've got cheese. The exorcism sorbet does sound interesting. I'm kind of curious if it's a savory flavor or if it's a sweet flavor.
Yeah.
But everything else just sounds disgusting at this point.
You want to try the man-eating plant tart?
No, absolutely not. I don't want to eat. Well, I mean, I eat plenty of things that would be willing to eat me. I mean, I've eaten rattlesnake. I've eaten alligator. I've eaten chicken. I'm surprised there was no laughter on that one.
Well, right as you said that, I was reading for episode 4 the vegetable skewer and chicken spicy wrap when they were eating with the orcs. Mm-hmm. And the basilisk bacon with the bread. But I just love that episode because she's like, give it to me. You don't know what to do with it. I can make bread. It's no use to you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Just this crazed look in his eyes. And it's just this little basically child fence that they're in. And he could just step over it technically and go get it. He just doesn't want to get beat up by orcs.
I mean, I wouldn't want to get beaten up by orcs. They're pretty vicious, but
right.
On the same token, I don't know. It's oi. Yeah, what's funny is I had to go back and actually watch episodes 4, 5, and 6 over again because like I made the mistake of watching the show when I was trying to go to bed.
Oh no!
And I fell asleep. There wasn't enough to keep my interest, and I was really dog tired.
You pulled a Jenae.
I did. I did pull a Jenae.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, it was a I like the episodes, but it feels like, I don't know, we're 6 episodes in, it feels a little formulaic because it's like they introduce that they're on a new level. They eat something new. Marcel freaks out about what they're going to be eating because for whatever reason, she just doesn't trust that it's going to be good. Genji proves her wrong by cooking something delicious and amazing. It looks great on screen. I don't know why, but like cartoon food always looks so much better than real food.
It looks so amazing.
Like I watched, watching Spirited Away. All the food looks so amazing.
Oh my
Wouldn't
God.
touch it in real life.
The Studio Ghibli movies, the food always looks amazing. It's just like I want that food.
Well, and not only that, but like animation in general kind of set me up for failure and lied to me. Like,
this is what food could look like.
Well, like in the cartoons, like when you've got characters drinking a beer or an ale or wine, they always make it look so delicious. But then you go and actually taste the real thing, and it's like, oh dear God, what did I just put in my mouth? Who would like this? This is disgusting. I mean, like the first time I ever tried wine, I was a kid. My parents severely watered it down, so that may have affected the flavor. But like I go and take that first sip, I'm just like,
yeah,
actual face that I made.
Yeah,
because it was disgusting. And then as an adult, the first time I tried beer, I'm like, okay, I can. It smelled great. I go to take a swig, and I'm like, bleh,
like beer. No, thank you. Now, on to the next question. Would you recommend, with only seeing so far episode 1 through 6, would you recommend this anime to anybody that likes anime or D&D?
I think if they're a fan of D&D, I might recommend it. Because I do know a lot. There's a weird crossover between people who do D&D and people who are major foodies. So I think I would definitely highlight it for someone who might cross over onto both of those interests. But just in general, I don't know. It's kind of a niche thing, and I think there's so many better anime options out there that I think, because for me, I tend to gravitate either to really strong storylines, which unfortunately the storyline for Delicious in Dungeon, I'm sure it's going to take off a little bit later on in the series, but like so far the storyline isn't very strong for me, and that's kind of what is a detractor. But that being said, I am going to stick with it because I do want to see where it goes and how things play out.
Yeah.
But if I was to recommend it to just someone who watches anime, I'd be like, you might like it. The animation's pretty decent, but storyline's not really all there.
Yeah.
What about you? Would you recommend it?
Well, I recommended it to you, so
I don't.
I
and you like food,
but I've also seen the whole season. So
right.
And as I said in our chats, this will be technically my third run through, but I hadn't gone through the second run through yet. I only got halfway done with my second run through, and so then we restarted. This will be my third run through until we get to whatever episode it was. So.
Oh my goodness.
But like I would recommend it. Yeah, I've been Kat and I both have been trying to get Will to watch it to see what he thinks of it. So
yeah, Will is he's a little persnickety when it comes to his anime.
Well, it's because I was me and Diamond were hounding him about Food Wars for the longest time, and so then he finally watched it and he actually enjoyed it. So so far with this anime, actually no, I skipped a question. What did you expect from the anime before you watched it? When I said, "Hey, we're watching Delicious in Dungeon."
I wasn't really sure what to expect. Like I had seen the teaser trailer for it on Netflix. I'm just like, okay, cool. This could be interesting. And then I'm like, maybe not. And then you recommended it. I'm like, okay, I got to watch this. You know, it's my turn to receive an assignment. And especially after last month, I just felt so bad that I scarred you for life mentally and emotionally and psychologically.
I've watched what's it called? I only know the English translated version of it. It's like Dark Stories of the Macabre or something like that. I think it's on Netflix.
Okay.
And each episode is just different little mini creepy horror episodes, and sometimes they're long enough that like one or two episodes connect to each other, kind of thing. I don't recommend watching it like right before you go to bed because that gave me nightmares. But like I enjoyed it. It was creepy, but I enjoyed it. And then there's by the same author / animator there he has a series on Prime, I believe, and that's all in black and white. I haven't finished it yet, and so that one's interesting. But it's like, but this one's all connected together into one story. So
yeah. Well, I mean, last month we had Alien Monday, and
yeah, that was creepy.
I felt so bad. Because
you're watching Delicious and Dungeon. I don't feel bad now. How dare she make me watch this? Now I'm hungry.
I felt bad, and I'm accepting the fact that I damaged you in some way, shape, or form. This is your retribution.
Right. But what has surprised you so far in the first 6 episodes? Like Dungeon.
I gotta say the animation is the artwork is really cool. It's really textured in the way it's. I mean, the characters themselves are fairly simple in their designs, but the environments and this is something I'm always going to keep coming back to, and whenever we're watching a series, is that the environments are just rendered so beautifully.
Yeah.
And like there's so much detail to the stonework in the dungeons, and I'm like. And even just the way that the food is presented, because like I'm looking here at some of the stuff from the first few episodes, and let me show it here on screen.
Yeah, they look amazing. So
they do. Like, I mean, we've got the huge scorpion and walking mushroom hot pot.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't eat scorpions, even if they do look a little bit like crayfish or crustaceans.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't eat mushrooms because I eat fungus.
Yeah.
But it looks amazing. The man-eating plant tart. It looks great. I wouldn't eat it, but I mean, look at the sorbet. It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous. And then the omelet, it's essentially like onigiri rice. You know, the egg omelet that they cut over the rice. It's gorgeous. But I do have a question.
Yes.
I don't remember hot succubus milk.
Is
that later on?
I don't remember if it is or not.
Because
that one could be from the manga itself, and they haven't gotten to that.
Yeah, because it looks like it's from the manga. But like, I mean, this. Ew, that's a succubus. Very attractive. But like it's crazy because like I mean, obviously we get a description of what it is, but like,
yeah,
I'm like, in order, like, for those of you who are not familiar with folklore watching this, succubi are female demons that show up when a man is sleeping, and they basically R-word him to drain him of his sexual energies until the point of death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's the assumption that most guys would probably like to go out that way. I don't know.
Death by snoo snoo.
Yeah, that's my snoo. But like, I mean, like, how do you like? What is the? I'm having a flashback of Ben Stiller saying you can milk anything with nipples.
Oh my
But
gosh, the cat. Yeah.
like, whose idea is it to? Hey, let's milk a female sex demon.
Yeah, from the 24 episodes that are out, I don't remember them doing anything like that yet. I don't think they've come across the succubus yet. So
apparently, 3 liters of the succubus milk can serve 4.
wow.
Yeah, and
but yeah, so unclear.
very unclear. Oh my gosh, it goes into some very weird After Dark territory.
Yes.
Very weird After Dark.
Well,
and I'm sure like
what Kat and I are surprised about that, because you know how there's always some different geek and nerd books with certain shows and stuff. Delicious in Dungeon technically doesn't have a cookbook yet, so I don't know if it's because the manga's still going on, but unless there's one now. But last time we talked, there wasn't one, so we thought that was interesting. Like, you can kind of look them up, like what you did on the wiki briefly, and find something similar. But like, back when it first came out last year in 2024, there wasn't anything.
Yeah, I'm looking here. There is. I'm going to present my screen again. There is an unofficial Delicious in Dungeon inspired cookbook on Etsy.
Yeah.
And you can find it. I'm kind of curious.
With the walking fungi that you don't like.
Yeah. Why do the fungi have butts?
Because they have feet and legs that run, I guess. I don't know. I just like, though, that Lyo's like, oh, it's easier to cut them this way when they were trying to cook them. And then he's like, oh, that'll be good for when we have to fight him again. It's like, hey, he's learning some new fighting techniques while he's...
Yes, he is. But hey, it's only $15.
Right.
That's not bad. I mean, if you order it now, Jenae, you could get it by next weekend.
And you think I cook?
Oh, that's right. Right, I forget.
I make soggy water and I burn tortillas. So,
hey, water's already wet.
That's what my daughter said. Like, she made this weird face, and I was like, honey, what's wrong? And she's like, you made soggy water, Mama. No, you made soggy water. It doesn't taste good.
How old is your daughter?
Well, at the time when she said that to me, she was like 2.5, and she's now 10. So.
And your water making skills have not improved in 8 years?
Who knows? She doesn't get. Right. She gets her own water now.
You know what? Just for that, I'm going to send you the link to the Basics with Babish playlist on YouTube. Learn something.
Hey,
feed your family.
I can make boxed macaroni.
Oh my God! No, beyond the boxed macaroni. Beyond the boxed macaroni.
This is a girl that didn't know how to make Kool-Aid. We only had the pre-made Kool-Aid pouches things and stuff. We never bought the packets to make the Kool-Aid, so I didn't know.
The packets are like
I know
more expensive than the pre-made stuff.
Yeah, but like we didn't get it that often, so those were a treat. So, what surprised you so far through this anime? Or did anything surprise you? Like, oh my gosh, they're actually going to eat that? Or,
No, I mean, my reaction is kind of the same as what Maricel is reacting to when they first describe what they're going to eat. I'm like, and then I look, I'm like, oh, okay, and then they taste it. I'm like, okay, the food. I mean, how I'm kind of curious is like how long of like what the span of time is between episodes. Like, have they been trekking for days, without food and now they're trying something new, or
Yeah.
like it's literally just the next day and they're sitting down for lunch or dinner. Because I'm like, because you know, when you're hungry enough, you'll eat anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's gone days or weeks without food, without any kind of food, and like when you're in that situation, you're 7 miles below the earth in a dungeon, winding your way to the next level. You don't have the luxury of turning your nose up at whatever's presented to you.
Yeah. What surprised me the first time I watched it was Genji using the golems as basically a walking garden.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of cool. And then when when Genji wanted to use the trap fire to the tempura, and then he's telling Chilchuk, he's like, "Well, you're good at traps. I'm good at cooking. So this is a trap. So you need to do this."
Yeah.
You said you do the traps is your thing, and this is a trap. So
It's a trap.
Like he's not wrong.
No. Yeah, I'm just sometimes the things that come out of these characters' mouths leave me just absolutely speechless. Just like, okay.
Or like Laios with the paintings, when he done the paintings and he ate, and then he's like, "Oh, I tasted some delicious food. Oh, why am I so hungry again? No, the food stays in there too, even if I ate it." All I could think about was like, "Ew, does that just mean it just plops on the ground after he leaves? Like, what's going on? Since it's gone and he ate it."
I don't want to think about that. Oh, you're making me think too much about the logistics there.
I'm just saying, because he's hungry again. It's like, what happened?
Like a dog returning to its vomit. Oh God, that's gross. That's so gross.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're good. I have a small child. I potty humor is funny. So, I think probably one of the most surprising things I've found about the show is the fact that I can just sit there and I can watch it, and I'm not bored by it, but at the same time, it's one of those things that I can have playing in the background and it doesn't distract me. Like if I'm watching, like for example, I tried to sit down to do some writing while I was watching Erased a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I couldn't focus on writing because the story was so engrossing.
Yes.
I tried doing the same thing when I was watching through Ranma, and I've seen at least the first season of the original Ranma from the 80s. And so you think having something so familiar, I wouldn't be engrossed in it. Unfortunately, I was.
Yeah.
With Delicious and Dungeon, I can have it playing in the background while I'm writing, and it doesn't phase me. Like I know what's going on. I'm able to pay attention, but at the same time, I'm able to get my work done. And so that right there is it is a little surprising, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to be able to have that where it makes for good background noise without it being irritating or something that you just want to tune out.
Yeah. What I like about it is that, like, if I'm watching it and I can't remember the rating of it, but like it's violent, but it's not violent enough that I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, my kids are walking in. They can't watch this."
Right.
Okay.
Like
so,
when I was watching Ranma, I'd put it on pause because there'd be some stuff that I thought was questionable on the show, like Ranma being topless, or all of a sudden, Ranma being like, "I should be a boy," and all the fighting that's going on, like especially the fighting. The last thing I want is for my son to be running around, jumping off the furniture, trying to kick me in the face.
Yep.
That is something that kids will try to do.
Or jump out of the bathtub water going, "Hiya!"
No, he won't do that. He won't do that because he doesn't want to slip and fall and hurt himself.
Yeah.
Thank
But
goodness for that.
like this is one of the few animes that I'm like, if it's on, like, and I'm watching it, I don't have to really pause it because it's like nothing. Like I don't think it's a mature rating.
Yeah,
It's more like violence part of it, but it's not
let
too
me
violent.
take a look at the rating on Netflix. Oh, they put Beetlejuice on Netflix.
It says mature, but
Does
I
it?
don't. Yeah, it says TV mature, but like as I said, like from my standard, like for the most part, at least the first 6 episodes, I don't see anything like really quote immature or too mature about it. But like I know they talk about death and resurrection and things like that.
I wonder if the reason why they have it listed as mature is just simply because like if you I'm watching the trailer on silent mode right now, and the some of the descriptions of Genji as he is describing the food as he's preparing it, while nobody like there's only one person who's paying attention to it, and it's not Maricel or Laios. But like as Genji's preparing it, like some of the word choices and descriptions of how he's preparing the food, it could be read as like a double entendre or something.
Oh. But yeah, but like personally, if like either one of my kids walked in while I was watching it, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta stop this," because they can't watch this because most of the time it's cooking, kind of a thing. So that's always nice to have like an anime that you can actually like watch, and it's not gonna be like too inappropriate for children.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because that's always the question. Because like anime is one of those formats where it looks like it's for kids, but they could have something very, very adult thrown in there.
Yeah. But that's one good thing about this one so far, that I was just like, well, I don't have to pause it because they're just talking about food basically, or killing monsters. So
Yep. And I'm okay with that. I worry about the day because my son's really into Pokemon right now. I worry about the day where I have to have the conversation to explain to him what they eat in the Pokemon world.
Oh, there's a MatPat episode on food theory for that. On what's the most nutritious Pokemon in Pokemon.
And it's not Magikarp.
No, it's not.
No.
I can't remember. I'll have to find it, but and send it to you. But it's funny.
And shiny Magikarp is just even more useless.
Yes.
As was established last night.
That's a good segue into my next question, because Magikarp's a creature. What creatures surprised you that they wouldn't or would eat? Because I know they ate most of it so far, but then some are like, "Oh, don't eat that." And with Genji, when they were doing the mandrakes, they realized that like if they did it the way he did it, they're not as tasty and nutritious as if the way they did it, that Marcel caught the mandrake with the whatever bat that was.
Yeah, I think going back, the scorpions in episode 1 were probably the things I would have been like, that's a really surprising food choice. I mean, scorpions in general have been eaten by desert cultures in the past because it's a source of protein. Anything that basically any animal can be a source of protein.
Yeah.
But it's really surprising because we, especially in the modern world, we don't think about eating bugs as a I mean, unless you're like Bill Gates and you're like, yeah, you'll totally love eating mealworms. They're great for you instead of cows. You'll never know the difference. I would know the difference because it doesn't taste like a burger. Anyway, but yeah, the scorpions. But like, it's kind of funny. Like I when you think about it though, like if you ever eat shrimp or you ever eat crab or if you ever eat lobster, those are essentially just gigantic sea bugs, and we're eating them. and nobody thinks twice about it because they taste so delicious with drawn butter.
Yeah.
But I mean, essentially, a lobster is just an underwater scorpion.
Mhm.
So might as well.
Right.
Roast it up, chop it up, see how tasty it is.
Watch out for the stinger. Watch out for the stinger.
Oh yeah, obviously. Because the last thing I need is to have my meal posthumously kill me. Ooh. So yeah, what about you? What's the one thing that you were surprised that they ate or didn't want to eat?
I was surprised by the bugs, the little mini bugs, but also made me laugh. They're like, why can't you eat those? He's like, oh, that's real treasure, and they're like, you threw the real treasure,
right? Like that right there felt very Mel Brooks.
Like, no, because they were even gonna leave the real treasure for the corpses when they got revived by the people that found them. So it just made me laugh that he chucked them over the side anyway.
Oh my god.
And but and I was really like the armor, the shellfish armor, and Elias is like, oh, it's just because I think it was the helmet was just gross because the way it was steamed and all enclosed, it just didn't taste as good.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I was like, oh, I'm really, really surprised by that one.
Yeah.
But I know that in other episodes they'll be questioning certain monsters, and they're like, well, we discussed this before. We're not going to eat this, or this because of this, this, and this. And I was like, when did they discuss this? And so rewatching it, I'm like, I still don't see them discussing it. So they must have discussed it
off
camera at some point in between their days or something, because I don't after rewatching it a couple of times, I still don't remember them talking about it. So
oh goodness. Oh my god. Yeah. So
when you get to those episodes, that'll make you laugh and be like, Jenae warned me about this.
She did. So cool. Let's kind of start wrapping things up because I think we've tackled it. If you were to give the first 6 episodes of Delicious in Dungeon a letter grade, what would you give them?
I'd say if it's just the first 6, I'd say at least a B+.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing.
But
I mean, they're not great, but they're not terrible.
I believe it's an A, but if it's just the first 6, because they're just getting their gears going with everything. So I know because I've watched it, where it's gonna go. So I'd say B+. What about you?
I would give it a B+. It's solid. I mean, the episodes are not great, but they're not terrible.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season plays out.
Yeah, I still can't remember. I'll have to look it up when season 2 drops, because when the season 1 ended, I was like, oh, but then I was like, this is a really long season 1, because usually seasons are 12 to 13 episodes, and this was 24 episodes. So that surprised me. But Netflix likes to do their own go with the flow on their own stuff. So
yeah, they'll do what they want to do. Which now that you mentioned that, I just received an email with an article from Lad Bible where apparently Netflix is going to start adding a new feature over in the near future where if you're on the lowest tier subscription, you're going to start getting AI generated adverts popping up between episodes or between films or whatever you're streaming. And it's like, nobody wants this. Nobody, especially they don't want AI generated, but nobody wants these advertisements to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
then I guess you're just real TV now, kind of a thing. Instead of
That was the whole benefit of streaming, is that you didn't have to deal with the TV commercials.
What makes me mad is like I was watching something on, it was either on Hulu or on Prime, and I got stuck watching like 3 advertisements in a row, and it was supposed to go back to my show, and then it looped it with the 3 commercials again. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? So I backed out of it, and then re-backed into my show, and then I had to rewatch 3 new commercials because it didn't trigger saying, hey, they've already watched 6 commercials. I was like, there has to be a way for like it to know that I've already watched these. Just bring me back to where I was at, and then just give me 3 new ones like 5 minutes later or something, instead of, oh, you're at this timeline, so therefore you need to watch these. So that was a little annoying. Or at least have it like, it was like an anime or something, but it was like it was like a younger rated anime, and I was getting commercials for feminine products and stuff. And I was like, why are they showing these?
Because they know what you need, Jenae.
Right? Why are they showing these ads on basically a kid's cartoon? Because this one was it was like a Y7 anime. I can't remember which one I was watching, but it was like, jeez. Why?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I need to watch this. That's like usually when it's like Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and stuff. They had commercials specifically for just for kids and stuff. So
yeah, my son, when he watches, there's some stuff that he watches on YouTube that are kid-oriented programming or kid-oriented shows. But what kills me is the fact that he keeps getting advertisements for Modelo and Budweiser and yeast infections and all sorts of random things. Like, I'm sorry. What? Why do you need to put advertisements for adult products on a kid's video?
I always get call your senator to stop this or do this, vote this. It's like, okay, this has nothing to do with the video I'm watching. Okay.
Yeah. and now that now that the first 100 days of the new presidency have come to a pass, like, I'm starting to get like all sorts of political adverts sent to my phone. I'm so done. Like, I got one this morning wanting to have me do some kind of a survey, and I'm like,
nope.
Block, report junk, delete.
Yep, pretty much.
Or I get phone calls and they're like, we'd like you to take a survey.
Nope.
I hate all politicians. Kill them all. They should all be rounded up into a stadium and required to recite their oaths of office from memory. And if they cannot do that because they're mentally incapacitated, stick them in a home. If they can't do it because they just have forgotten what they're there for, shoot them on sight in accordance with the Constitution. Yeah. I like to quote Robin Williams, who I think was quoting Benjamin Franklin or Mark Twain. I'm not sure which. Politicians should be changed frequently, and for the same, or they're like diapers. They should be changed frequently and for the same reason.
Nice.
Yes. So anyway, with that in mind, what are we going to be talking about next month, Jenae?
We are going to be talking about one of my absolute favorites, the original Sailor Moon. Unfortunately, it's the newer dub Sailor Moon, not the OG dub Sailor Moon, but I'm still excited to rewatch it. I will be watching it in subs, not dubs, though, because I don't like the new voices that they picked for the re-recordings. So
I have no experience with either, so I'm just gonna watch it for what it is.
You're not biased.
I'm not biased in any way, shape, or form.
My
I mean,
my one problem is with the new redubs, and I don't remember when they redubbed it. Because okay, so quick story on it. They came back out in the 90s and they dubbed it and they gave them more Americanized names. They didn't have the original Japanese names like anime does now. And so I don't know if it was in the later 2000s when they decided to redub it, but they changed all the voice actors and stuff and given back their original names, which I am very happy with. It happens, translations, things like that. But almost all the main characters, in my opinion, they picked voices that almost sound too similar. But it's different people voicing them, but they just sound too similar, and it bugs me. But also, there's a workshop that I went to. This lady said that she helped PBS with Clifford the Big Red Dog, and when John Ritter, the voice of Clifford, when he passed away, they decided to cancel that show and do Clifford the Big Red Dog Puppy Days because research shows that children have a harder time with changes like that. So if they would have picked a different voice to replace Clifford, that would have been really tragic and the viewership would have tanked. So they just canceled the show and did Puppy Dog Days, which he would have a different voice because he's a puppy. Right. And so that's how they did that. And I think that's how my brain works when it comes to the new redubs. And the thing is, when they redid Sailor Moon in was it the 2020s or a little bit before 2020? Yeah. They did bring those characters that they had redubbed as the voices for the new Sailor Moon Crystal, which I'm okay with that, but I still watched it as subs because I just couldn't handle the voice change.
The voices were irritating for you.
It was just too much.
Gotcha.
So that's why I personally don't like the subs versus the dubs versus the subs for the Sailor Moon, because childhood, this is what I grew up with, and then so they changed
the sub step instead of the dub step. Got it.
Yeah. Yes. I understand their logic on changing it, because it's like Usagi should be Usagi. Her name shouldn't be Serena, but it is what it is. It happens.
Why didn't they just call her Rabbit?
That what's funny is I have the original manga that came out back in the original 2000s and all that, and in the manga her name is Bunny. That
makes sense.
So, and all the other names were basically the same, but I just thought it was funny that they did Bunny instead of Usagi. But now when they republished it, it's Usagi. So
well, I think because I know that there are some names from anime that were changed around because they were harder to pronounce for American audiences. Yeah, and they went with something similar, which is why a character would be renamed Serena. But that and growing up, I've always noticed that regardless of the anime, there was always a weird tendency in anime to make references to anywhere between 13th and 14th to the 16th century Europe, and whether it's France or England or some other Central European culture, where they would make some kind of reference to character names or cultural styles. Yeah, and that was always a constant thematic use, and I'm like, very weird. But of course, here in the United States, we've got a whole weird subculture of young girls who are trying to be anime girls.
Yeah.
It's just you have no idea what you're doing. That's cultural appropriation. But at the same time, there's girls over in Japan who are trying to style themselves to look like American girls, having no idea what real American girls look like.
Right. But so it'll be interesting. And the original Sailor Moon is a lot longer than the
Mhm.
manga or Sailor Moon Crystal.
Right, because
Sailor
you said there's a lot of filler episodes.
Yes, there's a lot of filler episodes. As Will says, this is like one of the first animes that does a villain a week, like the new villain. And so, like, Sailor Moon is super long. So I'm like, from remembering, I don't even know if like from 1 to 6, which we will be watching, if we will actually see all the scouts by the time we get to episode 6. So
good to know. Good to know.
So, but like I would prefer you to watch the OG than Crystal, because the Crystal animation style to me is very problematic, because they're like, ooh, this is all 3D, let's do this, and it just doesn't look good. And then they fixed it for part of season 2 and then the movies for Crystal, so which I'm happy about. But like they kind of flubbed the first part of Sailor Moon Crystal, in my opinion. They just need to reanimate it and it'd be good. I know it'd be a lot more money, but
yes, because animation is expensive.
Yep,
it is expensive.
I'm still excited, but it's one of my all-time favorite animes. So,
all right. Well, Jenae, how can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram at my drawing challenge, which is JELXINB. And they can also find me on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at the Geek Gauntlet podcast. And
Except
sometimes
this last week because you were
because I was sick. And then sometimes Garrett comes and jumps on the Geek Gauntlet with us to.
And sometimes I just troll you guys from the comment section.
Yes.
I have so much fun doing that. I do it for science.
Science!
Which that's a joke from a couple of weeks ago where we were talking about various attractive fictional characters and or the actresses who played them.
Yep.
And my desire to requisition them for science. Much to the dismay of Ando. Right. He's like, no, you can't steal them all.
But where can people find you, Garrett?
Well, it's like looking for Waldo. I'm everywhere. You guys can connect with me on Instagram and X at GKJ_publishing, where I talk about my books, The Archives of the Sink Ran, as well as my new book, which is called Midnight Playground. It is a collected anthology of original short stories. You can also find me on YouTube on a show called The Right Way. Just search for GKJ Publishing. And on that show, we talk book recommendations, author interviews, and creative writing tips. Now I'm back to my regular 1 episode a month format since April has come to a close. And so I just had a new episode come out in the last couple weeks. And I have new content coming out in June. I have 2 episodes. One is a recorded episode. One is a live stream that will be on the day before Father's Day, and then then I have 3 episodes dropping in July, and I'll be wrapping up the season at the end of July.
Woo.
So that's it for us. Remember, watch anime, eat snacks, and sometimes monsters can be tasty.
Yeah.
If there's anything you're going to take from this episode, it's that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time, I've been Garrett, and
Jenae.
Yep. All right.